Saturday Night Special, episode 4. For those who don't know much about this, it's basically multiple monologues into one, and it also got music in it. There's music segments, music breaks in it. So this particular episode, our rivalry week, I'll be talking about El Tráfico and the Cascadia Cup, and there's also some off the field topics that I'm gonna get into tonight. So sit back, relax, get your favorite drink, whatever you like to drink, whatever you like to smoke, and let's get into this.
You know I don't play about you. I just can't share. Yeah. And why would I let you leave? That's just unfair. Yeah. Don't kill our vibe. Don't kill our vibe. They look at us like ghosts. No questions. Facts. It's facts. Better your ways. Don't go away. I know what to say. Fiend for your loving. You know I don't play about you. You say don't share. Damn. Just show me that you fuck with me. Love is poetic. Someone suggested that someone was jealous. Wait, hold on, I've been stuck for a second. And it's funny how you always looking for something to edit. Get it? Yeah, you was the one who had said it. We know that every challenge will come with endeavors, and it's okay to be selfish. You wasn't gonna share this, but here it is. Why would you? They try to get you high, but the sky's where I took you. But if the point of view was my eyes, then I would too. Don't have another one on my side, so how could you cherish the day? Cause the way you carry yourself got you carried away. You know I don't play about you. I just can't share. Why would I let you leave? That's just unfair, yeah. Don't kill our vibe. Yeah. Don't kill our vibe. They look at us like ghosts.
Where you at? Where you been? On a tour with the fam, nigga, where? Like you care, I'm the man, it's a fact. Got my brand on my hat, from New York, not LA. MTA with the pack, Mary Jane in my sock. 30 bags for the kids in the school, getting high on the roof, by the bridge, Myrtle Ave. All the time, from the fort to the star, Clinton Hill, where I'm from. Barbershop, show me love, never changed though. Lot of people caught up in the fame, no. Doubted you and look how far you came, no. And now they bitter cause I stayed gone. Everybody loved me when I came home, yeah. ACG's like, yeah. Chopped cheese like, yeah. Fronto leaf inside the blunt. Building smelling like a skunk. Bodega credit A1. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my day one. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my haters. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my day one. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my haters. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my day one. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my haters. Brooklyn Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my day one. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my haters. Posted at Havana with my niggas every day. Ayy, bought them in my city, feeling like I'm on a vacay. Lil niggas riding down Atlantic, yelling Trey. Wait, youngin', get your money, give a fuck about what they say. See my nigga Nelson, he was coming out the crown fry. Used to work late, lately all I got is downtime. I ain't tryna argue with no woman, that's a dub hoe. With my stable-minded shorties hiding, cause I love those, yeah. Where they at? Where they at? Got my city on my back. Only want it if it's real. Fake love, give it back. Wasn't shooting in the gym, but you know this in the stats. Pour some liquor for my friends who ain't here with me today. Promise I'ma keep it real, so our story never changed. I'm just doing what I feel, never caught up in the game. Motherfucker dollar bill, real niggas never change. Money grow, I stay the same. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my day one. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my haters. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my day one. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my haters. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my day one. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my haters. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my day one. Brooklyn Bodega, do it for my haters.
So earlier this week, the politicians of Chicago basically made a late push, which is something that was kind of like buffoonery. They really made a fool of themselves this week, because I don't know how long the Bears have really been, when they actually started, physically and actively drawing up plans for the new stadium at Arlington Heights. That's 30 minutes northwest of the city. But the Chicago politicians knew from the get-go that the Bears, before these plans became public, they knew from the get-go that the Bears was already actively preparing their new home, drawing the blueprint for their new home in Arlington Heights. But for some reason, the politicians still wanted to throw some kind of proposal of a dome. And the Bears basically said, F you to the politicians. What the hell are y'all doing? Y'all already know our plans. We're done talking to y'all. We're done doing business with y'all. We're done. It's over. So why did y'all choose to make a fool of yourselves this week? That was basically the Bears said. They can't say that publicly, but I can speak for them because I'm not as popular as them. So here's the other catch to it. MLS, Premier Lacrosse League, Major League Rugby, probably even USFL. The Bears are basically saying it's official now. It's now official. The Bears are done with Soldier Field. Their lease ends in 2026. No, correction. Their lease doesn't end in 2026. They're on contract with the stadium until 2033. But they can leave early as 2026 by paying $84 million either to the city or whoever is the owner of that stadium. We all know that $84 million is pocket money to a NFL franchise. $84 million is nothing. But the question is, when Arlington Heights, when is that stadium going to be ready? There hasn't been any reports on that. So I don't think that the Bears will be leaving Soldier Field in 2026. It may be until 2030, somewhere between 2029 and 2033. So I'm thinking 2030. But look, the Bears are basically telling you, MLS, you can have it. So we're done with Soldier Field. Whenever our new home is ready, we are out. MLS, Soldier Field is yours. You, Premier Lacrosse League, Major League Rugby, and whoever else wanted. Northwestern, Notre Dame, whoever wants it, you can have it. That's basically what the Chicago Bears are saying. They said they're done. And this is huge for the MLS because you can turn this stadium into something that's bigger than just an athletic professional field. You can turn this into a real soccer academy, similar to the IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. Chicago, you can build like somewhere between 20,000 and 30,000, or somewhere between 30,000 and 40,000 seat stadium. And then in addition to that, on that same property, you can build a boarding school for at-risk youths, especially like from the youth from the west side and the south side. You can create like soccer boarding schools where not only will you will be getting more people from the inner cities involved in American soccer, but you'll also be giving them good education, and you'll also be giving them good life lessons. It won't have to be like a traditional public school type of education. Like, you can teach them money management. You can teach them interpersonal communication, how to communicate with people, how to build relationships with people. And of course, there's the soccer aspect. You can create a big soccer academy. And at the same time, this can be a multi-sport effort, because we all know that gridiron football, I'm not going to call it rugby style football anymore because it's not similar to rugby. It's not exactly like rugby. I'm going to call it gridiron football. So we know gridiron football, collision football, car crash football. That sport is dying. And for right now, it doesn't look as if it's dying because of the big TV mega deals. But let me tell you something. These big TV mega deals that NFL, SEC, Big Ten, they're getting, this is the last go around. This is the last time in our lifetime where we see gridiron football get these huge mega TV deals. This is the last go around. We're not going to see something like this again. So all these big contracts they're getting, this is the last big contract that all of these collision gridiron football leagues are getting. But as a result of the decline of that sport, you got soccer, traditional football, lacrosse, and rugby, and also frisbee. Those are like 4 sports that are growing in this country. So all 4 of these sports can come together and truly create like a good boarding school academy. So it doesn't only have to be soccer. I'm just throwing out ideas. It can be soccer, or it can be soccer in addition to lacrosse, rugby, frisbee, or just soccer and lacrosse, because soccer and lacrosse, those are the 2 biggest sports that are growing, really. But Chicago Fire, you have a lot of options. So now what you need to do, Chicago Fire, is to create a good relationship with Mayor Lori Lightfoot, because it seems like a lot of the current politicians who wanted the Bears to stay, they're baby boomer politicians, baby boomer and Gen X politicians. So they're used to growing up seeing football. They're used to growing up seeing gridiron football in the city and on TV in the community. They're not used to seeing traditional football in their community. So this is why you, MLS, MLS owner Don Garber and Chicago Fire owner Joe Masueto, excuse me if I mispronounced it, but this is the time for you to build a good, clean, healthy relationship with Mayor Lori Lightfoot and the Chicago politicians. Similar to how NYCFC has done a good job with building a good, clean relationship with Mayor Eric Adams and Councilwoman Diana Ayala, the basically the local politicians in the Bronx and the city of New York as a whole, Joe Masueto, Chicago Fire leaders, this is something that you should be doing because they're baby boomers, they're Gen X, and they're not used to seeing soccer growing up in their neighborhoods. So, give her free press box seats to Chicago Fire games, like for the rest of this season and next season and for many seasons, like, give her good press box seats at Chicago Fire home games. Take her out to dinner. Just learn from NYCFC. Do all that you can to build a good, clean relationship with the mayor because the opportunity is here for you now. The city of Chicago is yours, and they will be grateful for you because you will be known as the football team that never left. You will be known as the football team that stayed, and you will be known as the football team that was willing to work with the politicians and the communities to create a better Chicago.
They say my neighborhood is a jungle. They say my neighborhood is a jungle. They say my neighborhood is a jungle. I jumped off the porch early, night gas. Life can be a must, but hey, life's fair. I see my cousin take a bullet right there. Blood on the ground, body choked out right there. The Middle East, they in the holy war. Granny rubbed me down with the holy oil. Before I walk up out the front door, 13 years old, she know her boy about to go to war. Where I'm from, boy, they die young. They take that pack money and they buy guns. My cousin told me, boy, you better buy one. They arm full of tacks, but these young boys bear arms. Jungle. It's easy to get a gun than it is a job. He just had another son, so now here's the plot. He walked up out the crib, it's like 12 o'clock. His baby mama all up in his ear, now he going to rob. That chopper with him longer than the city block. He make you put them hands up like it's 12 o'clock. That chopper get to going, you gon' wish it stopped like cow. Who gon' call the cops? Everybody heads down, the whole city broke. They filing bankrupt the whole city, oh. Vacant buildings everywhere, where did the city go? Kwame Kilpatrick left and took the whole city, oh. Jungle. They say my neighborhood is a 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 jungle.
So recently, the USFL, they just finished their league title championship game. And just reading a few articles, various articles about the league in general this whole season, the league is really it's like they're triumphing the fact that they had better viewership on TV than the MLS. And of course, you have your European fanboys who is afraid of the MLS becoming more popular than their league. They're using that as a tool, opportunity to clown the MLS and to prove their point that the MLS is not growing and it's really not a fun league to watch. But listen, one advantage, like the USL's viewership numbers is very misleading because there's not too many people out here talking about the USFL. As a matter of fact, the reason why a lot of people or some people watch USFL more than MLS is because soccer is still growing. It's still a young sport. Even though it's been around since the late 90s, this is actually the decade where people are actually going to start paying attention to this sport in general. It wasn't in the 2000s and it wasn't in the tweens. It's going to be the 2020 decade where people really start to give soccer a chance in this country. Gridiron football in general, that sport has been popular, since the 60s or maybe even before the 60s. They've been popular for over 50 years by now. So people are more used to watching gridiron football on the TV. They're more familiar with it. Traditional football in general, it's a harder sport to understand because it's not like gridiron football where you have guys playing different positions and they're doing different things. And it's easier for you to understand the different things that the gridiron football players are doing. Soccer is a little more different because there's a lot of times when you have the players on the field who play different positions, but it seems like they're doing the same thing. And there's also a lot of dull moments in traditional football, which causes people not to want to watch for a very long time. Here's another thing. The USFL is owned by big media. They're owned by Fox Sports. So their commissioner is Fox Sports. Their majority owner is Fox Sports. So because they are owned by big media, they have a better advantage than the MLS to get more television viewers. And then here's another thing. A lot of sports fans right now are Gen X and baby boomers. Now, I don't know what the statistics is for me to know the gap between Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen X, and baby boomer, but a lot of sports fans right now are Gen X and baby boomers. Gen Y, Gen Z, we're the multitaskers. We just don't sit in front of a TV screen and just watch that one sport the whole game. We watch the highlights on the internet. And if we're watching the game live, we're on our cell phones at the same time. So a lot of times we'll just either watch a game for like a few minutes, and if we're not interested, we quickly change the channel. This is why I put emphasis more on offense in traditional football in America. And this is why I continue to say that the European football is not the standard. European football is not the standard because you need an entertainment aspect. Because new age American sports fans, if we're not entertained within 30 seconds, you have a 30-second to 1 minute window. MLS, new MLS owners, listen to me. This is part of the new analytics. You have a 30 seconds to 1 minute window to grabs the attention of your viewer. If we are not entertained between 30 seconds and 1 minute, we're going back on our cell phones to listen to music or to watch some kind of prank video on YouTube, or we're going to go on social media. So the entertainment aspect of the game is very crucial for your growth. MLS, USL, and U2 in WSL. So Commissioner Jessica Bierman, the same applies to you. You have a 30-second to 1 minute window to truly grasp the attention of us new age sports fans, viewership. If we're watching your match and if we're not entertained within 30 seconds, we are going to go back on our cell phone and just find something else to watch that will entertain us. So the USFL viewership number is very misleading because they're owned by Fox Sports, and a lot of sports fans, there's still a large number of Gen X and baby boomer sports fans that I believe outnumber the Gen Y and the Gen Zs at the moment. And because Gen X and baby boomers are used to gridiron football, they grew up with it. It's part of their DNA. It's part of their culture. It's part of their life. It's part of their fabric. And Gen X and baby boomers, they're kind of reluctant to try something new, especially if they grew up to something that they really like and they're used to it. So you can't really expect them to be so receptive to change. Do I believe that USFL is more popular than American soccer right now? No, not USFL. Gridiron football, yes. Like NFL, yes. College football, yes. But USFL, no. Those numbers are inflated. They're owned by big media. So big media, since it's the product of big media, they're going to do all that they can in advertisement and promotion to make sure that the USFL has bigger numbers than MLS, Major League Baseball, college baseball, track and field, wrestling, all of that. So we should not, us soccer fans, MLS fans, MLS spectators, we should not be fooled by the numbers. Because if the MLS was owned by Fox Sports, if the MLS was owned by ESPN, MLS will have astronomical viewership numbers. And this is the thing about being owned by big media. There's pros and cons to it. This is one of the pros. Astronomical numbers, great advertisement, great promotion. But at the same time, you won't have control of the broadcasting aspect of your company. And it'll give the big media more leverage to make decisions on other aspects of your company, like finances, and just other things. So despite such, I still believe that the MLS having the Apple TV deal is a better deal. It's still a better deal. Because remember, American soccer in general, you should be focused on steady growth, not fast growth. We know the history of the USFL and the XFL. Those leagues do not last long. They don't even reach 5 years before they go out of business. Gridiron football is becoming less popular, and we're becoming more knowledgeable of brain injuries. Look at former NFL star Demaryius Thomas. It was revealed this week that he has CTE. Soccer fans, don't get discouraged by TV numbers. TV numbers are very misleading, especially when you're competing against a sports league that is owned by big media, such as the USFL.
Love. We always talk about love. We always think about it, I'm in love, I want love, I need love, whatever. But sometimes I wonder, with all the hurt and the pain that people that and supposedly love you put you through. Is that really love? We would go to each other's houses, sleep on the floor, crash on each other's couches, work like kings and eat like paupers. Now my heart palpitates just thinking about all the stress that came up out this. Started out hard, going for the long haul, put all of the bullshit and hoes on pause. Shit got major, we stacked a little paper. Now couple years later, can't get a phone call. Hold up, big fish in a little pond, swimming around town thinking like we already stars. And they say that money change you, but money don't change you. It just make you more of what you already are. Hope our kids do better than we. Hope he and she learn to stick together when the times get ugly. I've been misconstrued, lied to and abused, but my fam still swear that they love me, man. If this is love, I don't wanna see hate. If this is real, I don't wanna see fake. I'm saying, cause I don't know how much more I can take. I know that all of y'all can relate. I'm saying, if this is love, I don't wanna see hate. If this is real, I don't wanna see fake. You know that ain't love, love. That ain't love, love. That ain't love, love. That ain't love, love. You were the right hand, my man, 50 grand. Us getting dollars was all part of the plan. A few years back, we cut ties, you understand. It was all business, nothing personal. And you vowed to come back a different person now. We are back on track, and time heals wounds. Nothing showed me you came back too soon. Yeah, once again, you and I to the tune. We brought you on tour, put money in your fist. You fucked up plenty and got slapped on the wrist, that's it. And every time the brothers grand met, the topic would arise about you being kept. The Lord says forgive, I will never forget. Should've picked up the phone when them times got ugly. I've been misconstrued, lied to and abused, but my fam still swear that they love me. Oh, shit. If this is love, I don't wanna see hate. If this is real, I don't wanna see fake. I'm saying, cause I don't know how much more I can take. I know that all of y'all can relate. I'm saying,
yeah, if this is love, I don't wanna see hate. If this is real, I don't wanna see fake. You know that ain't love, love. That ain't love, love. That ain't love, love. That ain't love, love.
I'ma ride for my niggas, I figure that's what they all say. It's foul play with cutting throats is your forte. Do 'em how you wanna be done, that's what the Lord say. Daps and hugs, but turn your back and get the sword play. I'm sure you say I got it all wrong, it ain't like that. I sent you all them letters, guess it's better you ain't right back. Despite the fact you told me plenty tears, you had to fight back. All lies, surprise, I ain't dish you with no spite track. I know you probably like that, but never will I hit your level. You gon' dig your own grave, focus when you grip the shovel. I should be pissed as ever, but I'm the bigger brother, so I'ma keep it moving while you get your shit together. Our bonds were severed, but all you had to say was fuck me. I smelt your bullshit, consider me lucky. I've been misconstrued, lied to and abused, but my fam still swear that they love me. Ain't that a bitch?
if this is love, I don't wanna see hate. If this is real, I don't wanna see fake. I'm saying, cause I don't know how much more I can take. I know that all of y'all can relate. I'm saying,
let's go. If this is love, I don't wanna see hate. If this is real, I don't wanna see fake. You know that ain't love, love. That ain't love, love. That ain't love, love. That ain't love, love.
Fuck it, keep running. Everybody go. Them shit didn't pick up.
So remember the author that I told you about in Mono 57, where I was talking about the Detroit situation, how the city was basically destroyed by big businesses, and the book that I referenced, Field of Schemes by Neil deMause. So basically, Field of Schemes, he continues to have a online newsletter where he provides daily news about sports businesses and their quest to build new stadiums. And it's amazing. Like every day, it's you see different teams trying to get new stadiums, and it's very intriguing. It's something where a lot of us don't know that there are many sports teams that are trying to get a new stadium every year. But he has a newsletter, and every Friday it's called the Friday Roundup. And on that Friday Roundup, intriguing news came out. So there's a potential for the Baltimore area, South Baltimore. It's potential for them to attract a USL team in the future. Now, nothing is official, but there's a group that's called Right to Dream. They're a Ghanaian-based soccer academy group that is trying to get a new stadium built in South Baltimore. Well, in Baltimore in general, but one of the locations is in the South area, in Port Covington. If you're from Baltimore, I'm sure you're familiar with Port Covington. Me, I'm not from Baltimore, so I don't know anything about Port Covington. But let me read you a brief tidbit from Neil DeMars and what he stated on Friday. So he said, the Maryland Stadium Authority voted to look into building a 10,000-seat soccer stadium in Baltimore because that's the kind of thing the Maryland Stadium Authority loves to do when it's not just cutting checks to local sports teams for no reason. Now, there's a little sarcasm with DeMars and how he writes, just to put out there. All right. The prime tenant would be a Ghanaian football academy that says it can bring in a USL team. The authority says it doesn't know how much a stadium will cost or where it will go or how much land it will need or who will pay for it, but it's doing a study of those things now. And so in reading like different links, so it's a Ghanaian, the group that's leading the charge is a Ghanaian football academy or a group. It's called Right to Dream. And basically they want to create something in Baltimore that is like a soccer boarding school in Baltimore that is similar to IMG Academy in Florida, Bradenton, Florida. An academy that can develop youth in the inner city and help them learn about the game of soccer while getting a good education at the same time. And this is something that I was preaching last week on the last Saturday night special episode, where Black youth in general, they're limited to only 3 sports, which is hip hop, gridiron football, and basketball. Why? It's no fault of their own. It's just society tells them. Society tells them like there's only 3 sports they can play. And because society tells them that, in their minds, that's all they envision themselves to be. Now we have a group called Right to Dream, and they want to change that narrative. They want to change that perspective. They want to change that stereotype and to tell Black American youth and other American youth in the area that you're more than just a rapper. You're more than just a gridiron football player. You're more than just a basketball player. This world has many options available for you to be. Don't limit yourself to only 3 things, because there's a lot of people who are not good at any of those things, which is me. I'm one of those people who are not good at any of those 3 things. So it's not good to just limit your abilities when you just tell yourself that it's only those 3 things and you're out. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this is a Ghanaian leadership. For those who don't know about Ghana, where Ghana is West Africa. So the thing about the growth of American soccer, as I continue to state, is that we need all hands on deck. So you don't have to be American born and American raised to help this sport grow, because this sport is a global sport. And to be honest with you, America and Canada are probably the only 2 countries on this planet where traditional football is not really popular, where traditional football is not not priority number one, and probably the Caribbeans too. So you don't have to be American to help this sport grow. If you're a Ghanaian, like Right to Dream, or a Haitian, or a Western European, and you want to help this sport grow, come on along. Because we need all hands on deck in order for this sport to grow, because this sport provides a lot of opportunities for people to live a good life. It provides bigger opportunities than gridiron football, bigger opportunities than baseball, bigger opportunities than hockey, because everybody can't skate. And Major League Baseball and gridiron football, they're not global sports. So I got the link in the description box if you want to learn more about Right to Dream. It's a up and coming academy that's based in Ghana, and they're trying to expand in the US to provide opportunities for not only Ghanaian youth, but also American youth. And the fact that they're leading the charge of bringing a USL team to Baltimore is most likely going to either be 10,000 seats. So it's either going to be USL Championship League or USL League One. If it's USL Championship League in Baltimore, that would be huge. It will be great for the community. So just keep an eye out on for that. USL to Baltimore. And once again, it's the USL that is leading the charge and that's integrating various communities into soccer. And this is the next goal for not only USL, but MLS and just NWSL and American soccer in general. The sport is already popular in the suburbs. Now it's time to make the sport popular in the urban areas. And, Baltimore is a good place to target. Chicago, good area to target, especially once the Bears leave to Arlington Heights. So there's a lot of opportunities. So the link's in the description box. Go read it. You get better information from there.
Yeah. Acting like they don't. Yeah. It's a war outside. Yeah. Am I the only nigga that? Hey. Look, I was with my day ones, running until we was playing D1. Hopping on that shuttle, then shuttle to get my speed up. Young niggas faking about that street shit. Go outside and get beat up. He had no hands, so he grabbed the heater. That's how life fly on this side. And I ain't in your business if you ain't in mine. My mama hit me with that holy water early. She prayed for me and it helped surely. I know it gotta be a God with how crazy this world be. Maybe it isn't. Maybe he just stop and visit. That's that free will, isn't it? I guess you move how you wanna move. But how my niggas move, I just be praying that my niggas smooth. Another nigga shot dead on KTVU. Mama asked if I know him when she watching the evening news. Even if I do, what can niggas do? Where can niggas hide? It's a war outside, it's a war outside. It's a war outside. And everybody acting like they don't see it. It's a war outside. It's a war outside. Don't no one Sometimes I'm thinking that I'm crazy off the shit I pondered. Journey of 1,000,000 miles when my mind wandered. We wasn't born into $1 million. I had niggas putting peas in a Honda. The niggas that went to college was the first to go to college in they family. Celebrated like we won a Grammy. Where I'm from, a diploma, make a nigga happy. Remember looking at my granny, you would swear I made it. I gave my mama a hug and went out and got faded. Luckily, I was one of the ones who made it. A lot of homies didn't, and it made me hate it. How was I so lucky? It's a dice roll. I saw Devin in the casket with his eyes closed. I see niggas walking around with a blindfold. I hope I get a call from Funk on my iPhone. I know what you really hide with that ice on, but you can't duck the truth anytime you turn the lights on. Facts, it's 10 times harder when you black, yeah. Thought we only felt it on the state side. Chopped it up with Koji, he from London on the same vibe. Luckily out there they ain't got guns, so they can't slide. Try to ban the guns over here, be a civil war. If you let them tell it to you, everyone your enemy. Put the kid on Ritalin, he just got hella energy, damn. I know we're all crazy, I see the truth. Just look at your IG and see the proof. Nothing really matters right now. Attention's the new cash right now. And I'm watching people cash out and crash out. It's a war outside. And everybody acting like they don't see. It's a war outside. Don't know why. Believe. Damn.
Birds chirping in the morning. Phone blow 4 in the morning. 4 blurk into the morning. Then we up working in the morning. Used to see blue beats in the street light. Now a nigga dropping foes in the street side. I got a ghetto bitch been fucking me for 3 nights. I got an outfit, nails, and a week tight. Diamonds in my piece, that's a cheat code. 89 when I'm looking through the peephole. Tuesday and Thursdays, they in sweet mode. 100 round drummer, I ain't got a reload.
I ain't got a clue. Ooh. What the world might do, what the world might do. Ooh. I just gotta stay cool.
Don't take me away from here. Don't take me away from here. Don't take me away from here. Don't take me away from here.
Bullshit. Platinum in the motherfucking street, nigga. Thought you knew this. Fucking photo riding solo in a new coupe, bitch. Another with a motherfucking dude. Told her there ain't no roof, bitch. I told her there ain't no roof, bitch. They got a nigga like, oh Lord. Tell them niggas who they really fucking with, cause I don't think they know the law. Cause ever since a nigga got a been a killer with a flow, Lord. And if you think I'm lying, then I'm blind. Strike a nigga to the flow, Lord. Throw a young nigga overboard.
Diamonds in my piece, that's a cheat code. AK when I peep through the peephole. Cause Tuesday and Thursdays, they in sweet mode. 100 round drummer, I ain't got a reload. Diamonds in my piece, that's a cheat code. AK when I peep through the peephole. Cause Tuesday and Thursdays, they in sweet mode. 100 round drummer, I ain't got a reload.
Don't take me away from here. Don't take me away from here. Don't take me away from here. Don't take me away from here.
I ain't got a clue. Ooh. What the world might do, what the world might do. Ooh. I just gotta stay cool. Ooh. What the world might do, what the world might do. Ooh. I just gotta stay cool. Ooh.
That's what you did. Cause you came out of left field. When I started hearing about your name, the name had me like, you know what I'm saying, checking for this dude. I started hearing you, Boston, I'm hearing you on this song. I heard you on the shit with DJ. Chicago kid, I heard you on this and that. I'm like, oh, this nigga got flavor. Nigga didn't know you was from here. You know, there ain't no disrespect. That's just like, you just sound like you not from nowhere. Like, nigga,
yeah,
you
gotta think about, what do a Gary nigga sound like? You ain't never heard. Oh, it's that mic.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I kind of created
that
something.
sound. Yeah, that's like, yeah,
sound,
nigga, this is what it's gonna be.
Right, exactly.
After me, there will be you.
Right, exactly.
But
So El Tráfico and Cascadia Cup, two of the biggest, most important, and two of the realest rivalries in the MLS. I mean, it doesn't get any better than those two rivalries, in my opinion. It's over. So as a result of that, in my opinion, rivalry week is over because those two matches have ended. El Tráfico, I'm not impressed by what I saw in El Tráfico because the two biggest stars that we all wanted to see go at it, like you have two NBA stars going at it, you know, you have two NFL quarterback stars going at it, like Brady and Manning. This is what we were supposed to see between Chicharito and Carlos Vela, but we didn't see it. Now, the teammates did a good job of picking up the slack, but the guys that we really wanted to see, Carlos Vela and Chicharito, they're little to non-existent. Now, Vela did have a key assist in the second half that basically sealed the win for the team. And that was really good. But I just wanted to see the two superstars just constantly just attack and be aggressive and see a lot of shots on goals like I saw in the first El Tráfico match of this year. The first El Tráfico match of this year, both of those guys were going at it. And that's why I'm still kind of just upset that the referees just had to interfere in that match, that first match. But this time around, the referees did a better job. They kept themselves out of the match. And they were letting the players play. Well, Vela and Chicharito, there are some moments in the second half where I didn't even think that Chicharito was in the match. Sometimes I'm like, is Chicharito on the field? And based on that, it really makes me wonder, is Chicharito and Vela past their prime? I think it's safe for us to have this conversation about Chicharito and Vela, that this year, after this season, they're most likely going to be past their prime. So Chicharito, he just turned 34 last month in June. I believe it was June 1st. Carlos Vela, he turned 33 in March. I believe it was March 1st, but I know it's definitely in March. So both of them are still in the early half of the 30s, but they're entering the mid ages of 30. And you know, traditional football, a lot of these guys have been playing ever since they were like 12. And all that running up and down the field. And based on their injury history, it's getting to the point where we can safely have this kind of respectful conversation that their bodies are just starting to slow down. Then there's also another element to this. You have the 2026 World Cup coming up. And it's not only America that's hosting it, it's Mexico and Canada. There is no doubt in my mind that the Mexicans are going to demand Vela and Chicharito to represent the national team. They're not going to ask them. They're going to expect them to be on that roster. And it's going to be so easy for them, they're not even going to have to try out for the team. Both of those guys are going to have the superstar package. They'll be able to create their own rules. They'll be able to earn own rules as in the amount of time they practice, the amount of time they scrimmage. Oh, the Mexicans are going to make it easy for them. Because you see how Team Mexico is looking right now in preparation for this 2022 World Cup? They're going to need the MLS superstars to help them. And this is only 4 seasons away. So there's no doubt in my mind that's in the back of their heads, both of their heads. And throughout the rest of this season, and in 2023, 2024, 2025, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to see them on the field less. And speaking of after 2023, if I had to bet some money on it, Vela will not be back in MLS after 2023. I just don't see it happening. Now, as for Chicharito, Galaxy fans, if you're unaware, I don't want you to panic when I tell you this, but this season is the final year of a 3-year contract that he signed, I believe it was back in 2020. So, LAFC fans just got through the drama of the Vela situation. They'll at least have him the rest of this season and the rest of next season. But what about you, Galaxy? What about Chicharito? Remember, either last month or 2 months ago, there was an article about Chicharito lamenting over the fact that he doesn't get to spend enough time with his kids and his family. And just seeing his performance last night, and the fact that there is a World Cup coming up in 2026, and how bad Team Mexico looks in 2022, a lot of that stuff is probably weighing him down. So, Galaxy fans, that's one thing you should be thinking about. This is why I said in Monologue 68 that last night's match, El Tráfico match, based on these guys' age and their injury history, and now Hernandez, his contract situation, that match last night could have been the last time that we ever see both of those two guys competing against each other in the MLS. Now, as we get late into the season, we will start hearing more about Hernandez's future publicly. Right now, nobody's really talking about it. But I'm telling you, his current contract, this is the final year. This is the final season of a 3-year contract that he signed either in 2020 or 2019. So just keep that in mind. As for the Cascadia Cup, good job, Portland. Portland, you took care of business. You did what you're supposed to do. Seattle, you got to be careful, because you have never missed the playoffs ever in your entire existence in the MLS. Since 2009, you have never missed the playoffs. This year might be different, Seattle, because the MLS today is different from the MLS in 2009. The MLS today is different from the MLS in the tweens. In the 2020s, teams are taking football more serious. You got the Texas boys. Look, you got Austin. They're a supporter shield contender. Then you got Dallas. They're trying to clinch a spot in the playoffs. Then you also can't forget about Houston, because Houston's not going to want to be left behind the two other Texas boys who's really playing well right now. Then you got the LA boys. They know that the days of Vela and Chicharito playing in the MLS are numbered. Both of them are getting older. They're heading into the mid-30s now. The Mexican teams are gonna start calling them as we get closer to the World Cup. After the 2022 World Cup, the Mexican national teams are going to start making phone calls to these two players, and they're going to demand, the Mexicans are going to demand that they return home to represent them in 2026. So the two LA boys, they're using 2022 season as possibly the last rodeo for the Mexican superstars. There's a reason why Snoop Dogg was at this El Tráfico game last night. There's a reason behind that. But the people in LA know, hey, this might be it. This season right here might be our last time seeing these two guys go at it head to head. So you got the two LA boys. You got the Texas boys. You got the LA boys. You don't have to worry about San Jose because San Jose does not take football serious. So you got Texas and you got LA. Then you got Portland. Portland's playing with pride. You don't have to worry about Vancouver. Vancouver blew it. And in my opinion, Vancouver unofficially eliminated themselves from playoff contention last night. Because if Vancouver believes that they're going to make the same late season push this year that they did last year, somebody needs to bring Vancouver right back down to earth and let them know it's not happening this year. Because you only play like one or two Eastern Conference teams. Your remaining schedule, Vancouver, there's only like 2 or 3 Eastern Conference teams. And the only Eastern Conference team that's traveling to play you for the rest of the season is Chicago. Well, most of your opponents are going to be Western Conference opponents. So, Seattle, I will tell you like I told Portland and Vancouver in Monologue 69. No more losses. Any Western Conference team that is serious about making the playoffs, no more losses. You cannot afford any more losses. Wins or ties. Wins, preferably wins. Wins or ties. Yes, Seattle, you're the CCL champion and you already won something, which is good. But I'm sure you want to keep that playoff winning streak going. I'm sure you do. Because you are a prideful organization along with Portland. And as for you, Portland, the job's not done. I hope you didn't start popping champagne in the locker room. Because Portland, you know the job is not done. You're still below the playoff line. And you still got a lot of work to do too. So, my final take on Rivalry Week, my word to the Eastern Conference again. Eastern Conference, you got to step it up. NYCFC, they're trying. But MLS, you really got to be careful how you officiate these NYCFC games. Because the temper is kind of starting to look more and more obvious the more we watch NYCFC matches. Remember, MLS, I understand you tampering for the major market teams, but just don't make it obvious. Red Bulls. It'll be nice to see the Hudson River Derby up there with Los Angeles and the Northwest rivalries. But the fans, what makes a rivalry great is the fan element. People actually showing up to the matches and actually caring. I don't know what it is with New Yorkers and traditional football. I don't know what it is with New Yorkers and soccer. It just seems like there's some kind of reluctance for New Yorkers to support it. Now, as for the Southeast, Miami, Orlando, I don't know. Those two organizations are still young, and they haven't really done much to garner my interest at the moment. But when Nashville returns back to the Eastern Conference next season, as they should, because St. Louis is going to be number 29, MLS team number 29 next year. A rivalry I really look forward to is Atlanta-Nashville. I really believe that Nashville can really be a serious rival to Atlanta. I would love to say Miami, but yeah, I just don't know about the Moss brothers and David Beckham. I don't know, besides, creating an empire in Miami with their new Freedom Park. When it comes to winning championships, I don't know where their mindset is towards that.
I never went to Harvard, but I got degrees to prove it. So I might fuck around and have a seizure on you. And I ain't fucking around with no local bitches. Start running the mouth, you got the people on you. My nigga Dicky say we got the people watching. I say really, man, cause I ain't even know. And y'all niggas be on Twitter just people watching. And we be in the stool on the ground just being focused. I'm all about $1 like Arizona. My cousin Justin back from North Dakota. Now my ass getting hot like a seat warmer. So much ammo, we don't need armor. Now sitting there thinking about what the fuck niggas think about. You can sleep on the nigga if you want. It might just be the nigga you been dreaming about.
Oh yeah. Is this what you been looking for?
Do it like we've never ever seen it done. There's no way that you could ever kill the flame. So hot, it's like we're living on this earth, living at the top of the world, like we never ever seen it done. There's no way you could ever kill the flame. So hot, it's like we're living on this earth.
Shit all figured out. Like why these niggas so pissed off? I can't be blamed for the other dude. Tell her watch your attitude before I tell her get lost. Feel the pride of these hopes and dreams. I'm lean, so I sleepwalk. It's like these niggas, I got prepaid phones. Cause all I'm hearing is cheap talk. I'm 22 with a lot of talent. Tightrope, I still gotta learn balance. My mama called me a little prince, so you know I gotta put her ass in the big balance. Flying in the land on the magic carpet. Bullets flying in my city, anyone's to talking. Anyone can get it, gotta get we done talking. Bad bitch on the side like she parallel parking. Still a bitch like cable. Capable of destruction, follow instructions. Instructed to kill niggas for real, nigga. You real niggas is bitches walking the hills, nigga. X-ray, listen to the bullshit drumline, nigga. He don't even read music. Read these nuts, give a fuck about anything that a nigga got to say out the way. I know preachers needing Jesus. And I know I'm far from perfect. But I know I got a purpose. What it is, I ain't for certain. Life is like a circus, but I ain't tripping, I know I'm blessed. But if I ever make it to the Grammys, I can probably tell my granny looking back, I got no regrets.
Living at the top of the world, like we never ever seen it done. There's no way that you could ever kill the flame. So hot, it's like we're living on the side.
Living at the top of the world. Do it like we never ever seen it done. There's no way that you could ever kill the flame. So hot, it's like we living on the sun.